We've got it's up for free on YouTube, up for free on Periscope, and I believe it's going to be up for free in podcast form for your ear holes pretty soon here as well. So be on the lookout for that. Um, let's see here. First round zipping by, and we've got 8 running backs off the board right off the top. Kelsey breaks the run at 9. That's a great value on Kelsey. I've been taking Kelsey quite a bit. Um, Still early in the best ball year. I usually don't do any best ball until like after the draft, but I've been taking Kelsey quite a bit, around 6, 7 overall. If I don't get one of those top 5 running backs I was talking about earlier, but that's fantastic value for Kelsey because now Shepard's going to be able to come back and probably get a home run wide receiver or a Eckler or Aaron Jones type if he chooses. But yeah, also want to mention we were running a really slick early bird special, but if you missed out on that, there's nothing to worry about. We have another early bird miss, if you will. I've sorry, I've totally blanked out. What's the I don't, early bird miss 21? You would think I would have that memorized after John said it a bunch of times, and we've said it a bunch of times. But early bird miss 21 gets you 10% off any of the packages we have up on the site. You can get premium, get a standard account for just our season long projections and all the season long articles, and save you 10%, save you a little bit of cash there. So early bird miss 21 for 10% off. And yeah, we're wrapping back around here in the second round. So I am about to be on the clock again here at 18. Man, Devontae Adams and Diggs are falling. This has been extremely running back heavy. First 8 picks are running backs, and then we had Chubb, Harrison, Jones, and Eckler, and Swift, and Gibson all go off the board. Swift and Gibson back to back. This is a fantastic spot to be in here because I was not going to take a running back again. This is close. So I'm on the clock. I got Devontae Adams and Stephon Diggs. I is already due for a little bit of regression just naturally because he was on pace for the best of all time. Like literally scored more fantasy points than Jerry Rice did when he scored 20 touchdowns in 12 games back in a holdout shortened season. And then you mix in the Aaron Rodgers factor, then potentially not being back in Green Bay. I've knocked Adams behind Hill and Diggs, so I'm going to go with Diggs here. I still think it's close. I still think Adams is easily a top 5 wide receiver if Jordan Love is indeed the quarterback, just because, man, they have nobody else to throw the ball to, and they're probably going to be in trail mode quite a bit without Rodgers at the helm. But I think the uncertainty around Rodgers right now is just enough to knock him right below Hill and Diggs. Certainly below Hill, but I think Diggs and Adams are really close. So we got a little receiver run, which was expected after all those running backs go off the board. Diggs, Ridley, and A.J. Brown. Calvin Ridley is someone I have not drafted enough of yet in best ball. If Julio Jones gets traded, Ridley literally has receiver 1 in his range of outcomes. Back on the clock. Start round 3 here. Adams goes third round pick now, which is crazy. Metcalf goes with the second pick. I could take Jefferson here. I could take Keenan Allen. Or I could come and get a legit tight end 1 every single week in Darren Waller. Waller was my biggest miss last year. Maybe Marquise Hollywood Brown was my biggest miss, but not drafting enough Darren Waller was a big mistake in round 5, round 6. I'm going to get a difference maker at tight end early and get Darren Waller here in round 3. I have him as my tight end 2 over George Kittle. And as much as I love George Kittle's talent and how explosive he is and how much fun he is to root for, man, the Niners are a run-heavy team still with a rookie quarterback. Deebo Samuel's coming back healthy. Brandon Ayuk is a star in the making. They have a ton of receivers spread the ball around there, and I still think Kittle still has like 75 catches, 1,400 yards, and 7-8 touchdowns in his range of outcomes pretty easily if he plays 15, 16 games this year. But Waller is the receiver 1 in Vegas. 28% target share last year, which is just ludicrous for a tight end. And they didn't add really any receivers. In fact, they lost Nelson Aguilar. I don't think Henry Ruggs is ready to take on a big role in that offense. Waller is such a fantastic pick, I think, in the third round of drafts right now. Obviously, this is a 10-team league, but man, I'm making a big adjustment, not making the same mistake last year as I did last year, and not drafting Waller enough. All right, we got Mixon, Jefferson, Dobbins, Allen, Sanders after I took Waller. Mixon was I guess my third guy in line there after Jefferson and Waller. Mixon is going to play literally every single snap this year without Gio Bernard back there. And they kind of started making that switch a little bit last year. Zach Taylor started playing Gio a little bit more on passing downs. It still wasn't like a true bell cow role, but it was like 60-40 Mixon on passing downs compared to Bernard, and now Bernard's gone. Bengals really don't have too much else there, so I like Mixon quite a bit. He's a guy that's been coming up my board quite a bit here recently. There's also some news today that Mixon got a clean bill of health, which is good. He's back full go at OTAs, which is awesome. All right, we are about to close out the third round here. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Terry McLaurin go off the board, followed by Michael Thomas. Honestly, pretty chalk. Not a lot of surprise picks for the first, whatever we're at here, 31. McLaurin is we talked about that today on the live stream. McLaurin is set up so well in this Washington offense. Again, we talked about it again on the powwow earlier today with our guys, and man, Fitzmagic was awesome for Devontae Parker. Got Devontae Parker paid, got Mike Evans paid. Chris Godwin was fantastic with Fitzpatrick. Man, he knows where to go to his guys, and McLaurin is going to be his guy. We also talked about this earlier today too, and I think the addition of Curtis Samuel is humongous for McLaurin, because they can line up Samuel in a myriad of different ways, and McLaurin, I think double coverage and getting bracket coverage is a little bit of a misnomer. Gets thrown around a lot, but man, McLaurin definitely got some extra attention, especially against better defenses. So I think Samuel's addition, just as an added threat out of the slot, up the seam and just taking a little bit of safety help away from McLaurin is going to be huge for him. All right, so we got Michael Thomas, Mahomes, Josh Jacobs, David Montgomery, then Kittle. Huge value on Kittle, so maybe my Waller pick was a little bit of a reach in this draft, but I'm still okay with it. A-Rob, I'm about to be on the clock here at 38. Man, staring down Chris Carson in my queue. Amari Cooper, probably just going to stick with one of those two guys. Whoever does not go here, one of those two. Let's see what he does. Ooh, Woods. Okay. All right, so he went with Robert Woods. I'm going to go with Amari Cooper. I talked about today on the live stream with the guys on the powwow, like all these Dallas receivers are once again undervalued. Last year, I thought Amari Cooper and Michael Gallup and CeeDee Lamb were all undervalued. This year, I think Lamb is someone I'm really high on. I just haven't found myself taking him a bunch because people are way in on him for good reason. Michael Gallup is like one of my top drafted best ball receivers super early, but yeah, love this Cowboys offense. I mean, they're up in pace, super pass heavy, exactly what you want for your fantasy offense. And if Dak is back to 100%, it's going to be lights out. So I actually have a chance here to double dip on Cowboys receivers and maybe try to stack them all with Dak if I wanted. Lamb is still on board. I wanted Carson to come back to me, but he didn't. You know what? I'm going to take Mike Evans. Yeah, I'm going to take Mike Evans. Damn. So first 5 picks, Derrick Henry at 103. Then we brought it back with Diggs, Waller, Cooper, Mike Evans. I'm thrilled. This is a strategy I've been taking a little bit more last year, but more so this year. If you find yourself with a top 5 pick and you're automatically securing a potential league winning back automatically, like, Christian McCaffrey, Dalvin Cook, obviously, but, Barkley still has RB1 as range of outcome. Mara was the top player and Jeff Henderson's WAR stat last year, which is wins above replace, third overall pick. He's kind of stretched to the fourth, fifth overall this year. And I love Derrick Henry. I've been way in on Henry. Won me a couple big money leagues last year. But if you get a top 5 pick, you secure that top 5 runner, you come back and you just hammer receiver, especially in these types of formats like NFFC, Best Ball 10, and Underdog, where you have to start 3 receivers. And in this format, I got super lucky because I did not think Diggs would fall to me. And Evans would fall to me because he's like the perfect best ball receiver, Mike Evans is, because he's going to have those 40-point weeks where he wins your week, and then he's going to have his 2 catch for 25 yards game, and hopefully you'll have some depth. And as my receiver 3 on this team, I'm thrilled with that. But the strategy, man, is something John Rummy, longtime fantasy legend, has been talking about for a long time. It's like a modified 0 RB strategy. So you get your top 5 runner, top 6 runner, and you just come back and you just attack all the other positions, particularly receiver. And in this draft, it kind of just set up perfectly here for me to go Diggs, Cooper, Evans, and obviously having Waller too. A quintessential 0 RB team is you want to have a strong tight end. You want to have a Kelsey. You want to have a Waller. You want to have a Kittle. Well, this allows you to have the 0 RB strategy where you're maximizing, your receiver, flex spot, and tight end. But you also still have that top 5 runner, and you just kind of avoid running back for a few rounds. Mixon was my guy. If I wasn't gonna go Waller, but in best ball, this is something Scott's talked about, is 0 RB is a lot more viable in best ball. You can find the values in rounds 8 through 12 this year in particular, just setting up really, really well for these modified or even straight 0 RB teams. So I'm pretty thrilled with how this one's going. All right, wrapping up the 5th round here. After I went Evans, Godwin immediately went. We had Thielen, Deontay Johnson, CeeDee Lamb, great value. Kyle Pitts, that's a stretch. If Julio doesn't get traded, people are going nuts for Pitts. Then Tyler Lockett, Javonte Williams, and then Jamar Chase. Man, if Pitts gets traded, some of my if Julio gets traded, some of my early best ball teams might be toast, because I have pretty much no Kyle Pitts at where he's going in the 5th or 6th round. But love Kyle Pitts as a talent, but man, he's got to have the best rookie tight end season of all time to pay off his ADP. And even then, I don't know if he's really going to pay off his ADP, because TJ Hawkinson's going after him. Zach ends up getting traded or cut. I love Dallas Goedert. A little bit better value on the board right now, but Pitts, certainly has 60 catches, 800 yards, and 6-7 touchdowns in his range of outcomes, even if they don't deal Julio. All right, so Jamar Chase, Kyler Murray, DJ Moore, Dak, Lamar. Damn, I knew the quarterbacks would go off the board here. Sharp room. I really wanted Lamar. That's a bummer. We are going to have to pivot here. Yeah, another beyond the top 5 running back, then hammer receiver strategy I was talking about. Another strategy I'm taking this year is I'm hammering quarterbacks in the mid rounds. I want Dak. I want Lamar, especially want Lamar. I love Kyler. Anytime I can get those guys in the 5th, 6th round. John Hansen did a draft a couple weeks ago. He got Lamar at the end of the 6th round, which is just fantastic value. This one, not so much. They went off the board where they should, in the mid 50s. But I've got Lamar ranked well above his ADP. I've got him at 47 in my best ball ranks. Higher on Josh Allen and Kyler Murray too than ADP indicates. I guess for me, now that I was hoping to get one of those 3, Kyler, Dak, or Lamar. That was my second option. I'm going to have to go back and get another receiver here. And we'll just win this flex spot with receivers. Myles Gaskin's still around. Do I go Gaskin or Cup? Gaskin or Cup? You know what? Let's take this true zero RB. Or modified, I should say. Let's do that. Because I'm already winning the tight end spot outside of Kelsey. Yeah, I like that. I'm going to take Cup. I took Cooper Kupp over Brandon Ayuk. It's not that I don't like Brandon Ayuk, and Ayuk actually goes right after I just took Kupp. So he literally sat on the clock for 3 seconds, made the click on Ayuk. I love Brandon Ayuk, man, but he did all of his best work without George Kittle or Deebo Samuel healthy. That's huge. I mean, he was just getting a massive target share, which is not going to happen again. Like Deebo Samuel command at least 20%. Kittle command his usual 23 to 25. Ayuk is going to have to make his hay on 6-7 targets a game, which he certainly can because he's that damn good. But I think he's a little bit priced out. The gap between Ayuk kind of doesn't make sense to me. It's not that I'm like low on Ayuk in particular. I just think he should be closer than Deebo. All right, Myles Gaskin just went off the board. I was kind of hoping I could sneak in Gaskin for my RB2, but it's okay. We'll come back and we'll take another receiver. We'll just load up here. For me right now, the board has fallen. It's between Claypool, really Claypool and Chark. They're kind of the same-ish for me. I got Kupp. I'm going to buy the dip on Chark. I've been overdrafting Chark quite a bit because last year, man, I mean, you want to talk about the worst quarterback situation a receiver can go through. That's what DJ Chark went through. I mean, there was some weeks where I read a report where Chark and Laviska, no idea who was even going to start before some games. Now he gets quarterback Jesus, Trevor Lawrence, man. I think Chark is a great buy right now because he's this is a 10-team league. He just went in the 7th round, and some of the BB10 on the opposite side of the NFFC, he's been going in the late. Been buying too. I love buying low on Chark right now. He's maybe not going to be super consistent for season long, just as the Jags kind of feel out this new offense with the new offensive coordinator. Obviously, Urban Meyer's there. But man, for best ball, he's my wide receiver 5 on this team. Wide receiver 5. I got Diggs, Cooper, Evans, Kupp, and DJ Chark. So loving these 5 receivers here. Plus Waller, definitely loving my pass catchers, bookended with Henry. So I'm feeling good about this team. I'm just hoping that I can get the quarterback I want. It just went off the board. It's a 10-team league quarterback pool. I'm going to definitely take at least, it's 26 rounds. I'm at least going to take 3 for sure, maybe 4, but 3 for sure. But within a little bit easier. In these deeper drafts, like the 26 rounder here that we're doing tonight with the Cutline, and then the 35 rounder, the Best Ball Championship, quarterbacks typically go a little bit earlier than your normal best ball league, simply because there's 35 rounds and it just kind of pushes up the scarcity a little bit. It gets really thin really fast. And one of my best ball championship leagues that I did last year, I think it was the only one I streamed. I ended up with Joe Burrow and Ryan Fitzpatrick and Teddy Bridgewater as my 3 guys. I waited too long. It ended up working out because Burrow was great. Well, good enough between weeks 1 through 8 before he got hurt. And then Fitzmagic kind of carried me at the end. I finished 2nd in that league, which I was thrilled about. But I've definitely learned my lesson on not waiting on quarterback too long in best ball, especially this year, because it gets kind of thin kind of quick. Not thin. It's just a huge tier. There's a huge tier drop off, I think, after like QB 13, QB 14. and it's just like a huge lump of guys after that, you know. So we'll see how that plays out here. All right, so into the 7th round ended up being Claypool, who I had my eye on after Chark, right after I picked Chark, then Davis, Sutton, Rogers, Higgins, Juju, Hunt, and then coming back in the 8th. Damn, my guy Debo just went. We had Gordon, Robinson, Herbert, Beckham, and Debo. I had Debo in my queue, so he would have been my wide receiver 6. So I'm not too bummed about it. We got another couple guys I'm thinking of here. This is an interesting part of the draft here. I got a number of ways I can go. Let's see what Elias does here. Robbie Anderson just went off the board. I think Anderson's fine. Just he's going off in a range around Chark and Debo and some other guys I like just a little bit more. But Anderson's definitely a fine pick, especially like Curtis Samuel there. By the way, Robbie Anderson had like the quietest 90 catch over 1,000-yard season of all time. Like he was just like a week in, week out, like strong high-end wide receiver 3. Dude caught 95 balls last year. It's crazy. All right, we're about to be on the clock here for Z8's pick. I got 3 different players on my queue, 3 different positions, and Devontae Smith was not one of them. So now I got a choice. Do I break the receiver run that I've been on, pass catcher run, with a back, or do I go with my quarterback that I'm targeting? Let's see here. I could probably wait on the quarterback, I think. I'm going to take Chase Edmonds here. I honestly think is going to end up being a little overhyped, but this is a great value here in the 8th round. He's typically going like mid-6th in normal 12-team leagues. So if you do the adjustment, this is probably like 10 to 12 spots past ADP, which is pretty strong. I'm really I did not expect Edmonds to fall this far, but his only competition right now is James Conner, and James Conner's kind of just been just a guy for the last couple of years. At the very least, Edmonds is going to play downs majority of the time. So definitely loving the value there. So now I have another choice to come back here because oh wow, Trevor Lawrence just went off the board. It's surprising. Was he stacking him with anyone? I don't think so. No, interesting. So he's super high on Lawrence. Man, sitting at again 3 guys on my queue, all 3 different positions. Do I go ahead and trigger? Do I pull the trigger? You know what? Let's do it. You know what, Ben? Fly Eagles fly. Jalen Hurts, let's go. Let's go. I think so. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, damn. Yeah, Lawrence went ahead of him. Yeah, man. I got Hurts at QB6, so I got my QB6 at QB10. Man, Eagles, for better or worse, they're all in. At least for this year. We'll see. They got 3 first-round picks likely next year, so if Hurts stinks, they'll have plenty of ammo to get another one. But Jalen Hurts, man, even if he completes like 60% of his passes or whatever this year, I don't care. He is the definition of Konami code. Scott just wrote a great article today up on the site, code quarterbacks, kind of revisiting Rich Hribar's idea. And Jalen Hurts is literally the quintessential guy. For that, I mean, he struggled, had his ups and downs as a passer last year, but it didn't matter. He was 5th among all quarterbacks in fantasy points per dropback. That factors in rushing. And he was up there with the elites like Mahomes, like Lamar, even Lamar in a year. Lamar was still top 5 in points per dropback, and that's because he runs a ton. I mean, you think about it, in 3 full starts, Hurts had 289 rushing yards. 289 rushing yards in 3 full starts. That doesn't count the Week 17 game where they pulled their starters to everybody's chagrin, but which ended up being really sharp because Eagles massively helped their draft. But yeah, I love Jalen Hurts this year. I've been talking about this with Mike Sanda, who's an NFFC pro. We've been talking back and forth, exchanging emails, and he's actually helped me understand why quarterbacks go or should be going way earlier in some of these drafts, some of these best ball drafts, especially in the higher stakes stuff. But we were kind of talking back and forth, we were both on Lamar and Dak in 19. We were both on Josh Allen in 2020. Josh Allen was my highest drafted quarterback by far last year. There's not really a guy like that. This year was just like a clear, glaring value. But Jalen Hurts is probably the closest thing we have to that. So thrilled to get Jalen Hurts this year. Been drafting Hurts quite a bit. All right, so wrapping up the 9th round, we had a little stretch of tight ends. Logan Thomas, Dallas Goedert, Fant go off the board. Another quarterback in Brady. And then we have a run of running backs right now with Fournette, Mostert, Trey Sermon. I had my eye on Sermon. If I wasn't going to take Hurts, I was going to take Sermon there. So nice value in the 10th round. Jeff Wilson is probably not going to play half this year. He just tore his meniscus, apparently. Needs surgery. So it's going to be Mostert and Sermon. And for best ball, man, like Niners running backs, you don't care. You just invest in them. Like invest in the cheapest one. Sermon is great value at the first pick of the 10th round. And then we got Matt Ryan, Fuller, Marquise Brown, and Stafford. I'm about to be back on the clock here. I would love to stack up Hurts, but it's not the time for that. It is not the time for that. All right, Michael Carter just goes off the board in front of me. I'm gonna double up here on some of these later round running backs, I think, and I'm gonna take my first one in Damian Harris. A couple reports have come out of Patriots camp that the Patriots probably are not going to keep Sony Michel around. I think the Ramondre Stevenson pick was an indictment on Michel. Michel, they didn't pick up his 5th-year option, obviously. He's been, obviously pretty massive bust for them. Oh, damn, Kenyon Drake just went off the board. That was my second guy. We're about to come back on the board, and I'll come back to some thoughts on Harris. Lot of receivers I like still. What should we do? I got it between 2. I missed out on and Lamar, but it still means I can invest in Cowboys receivers. And I'm going to take Michael Gallup. Damn. I absolutely love these receivers. Holy shit. Michael Gallup is my receiver 6 on this team. No big deal. But back to Damian Harris real quick. I think the Stevenson pick was an indictment on Michel. That I would not be surprised if he gets cut. Mike Reese, who's like one of the most plugged in beat reporters in the NFL and certainly the most plugged in beat reporter for the Patriots, mentioned that because Stevenson plays on special teams and Michel doesn't, they might just roll with 3. And that 3 would be Damian Harris, Stevenson, and obviously James White. I always try to shy away from the 2-down guys who have no pass catching upside. But Damian Harris, man, if Cam does not start and Dame Harris gets some of the red zone work split with Stevenson and White, he has like 8 to 10 touchdowns in his range of outcomes. That's if Cam does not start like half the season. If they find themselves in a situation where they can start Mac Jones early, then Damian Harris is one of the best running back values on the board, because you got to think about it. Cam is still he's declined massively as a passer, but he's still a huge threat in the red zone. I mean, that was literally their inside the 5 offense was Cam Newton, and it worked. I mean, he's still a cheat code inside the 5 scoring touchdowns, but it's going to hurt Damian Harris if Cam is still doing that, because at the end of the day, Harris will probably just be 75, 80, 90 yards a game in between the 20s and not getting a lot of love in the red zone. So I've bumped up. I know Joe and I've been talking about this. Joe bumped up Dame Harris last week, and it got me to bump up Dame Harris too, because I trust Joe's take on it, because I think he's right that Mac would end up being a starter, maybe not week 1, maybe not week 2, but early in the season, and that's really going to help Dame score more touchdowns. All right. into the 11th round here. We are flying through this one, Ben. We've only been around for 32 minutes. We're already through around 11, so we're gonna crush this here. I took Gallup, then went Burrow, Landry, Chenault, Rams D. Interesting. Michael Pittman, James Conner, and then Ryan Tannehill. We got a little round of quarterbacks with Carson Wentz, then Samuel, and then Steelers D. Again, a little interesting, a little early, especially for a 10-team league. Not what I was eyeing up, but maybe I need to adjust. All right, we are looking. I got 3 running backs. Obviously, just Henry's the alpha, and then I'll just play mix and match with that RB2 spot. With the way this team is set up right now, and the way I'm trying to draft some of these modified 0 RB teams, is I always want a receiver in that flex spot. Not only do they have a higher floor, they have a much higher ceiling. I mean, what is the likelihood DJ Chark? Like, how many times does DJ Chark outscore Damian Harris this year? I'd probably say at least 60% of the time for ceiling games. So what I'm trying to do is win the flex spot. I don't really give a shit who my RB2 is. If I got Henry in there, if I got Kamara, if I got one of these top 5 guys, as long as my RB2 is scoring like 10 points a game, 11 points a game, I'm trying to make up for it in the flex spot with Darren Waller and then at these other positions. So that's the key, is you want to have a positional advantage. If you go with these 0 RB teams, you go modified 0 RBs, you want to have a positional advantage at quarterback, flex, and tight end. And I think I've done that here. It's a little bit easier to do in tight end and 10-team leagues, obviously, just with the shallower pool. I would love to get a Hurts stack. And the only guy on the board left to do that is Rager. So hopefully I don't get sniped here, because I'm just going to go ahead and secure that. My backup. Ooh. Let's see. All right, he went Mooney. I'll go Rager. Easy stack, whatever. Jalen Rager might catch only 50 balls this year, but hopefully he'll, find my flex spot maybe once or twice. I mean, he's my 7th receiver on this team. But I Hurts, when I'm drafting Hurts, it's typically not Devontae Smith with a stack. It's typically Rager. It's cheaper. Devontae Smith goes in a range too, where he's kind of crept up a little too much for my liking right now. I like, Deebo Samuel still goes around that range-ish. I'm kind of all in on Deebo. There's a few other guys I like more, but yeah, I'm fine with Rager as my 7. He burned me last year, but I'm not going to let that affect any of my decision making, especially when I draft Hurts. I want to stack. I hope I don't get sniped on my back here, because I would love to take this back as my RB4. All right, so rounding out the 12th round, we had Jalen Waddle and Corey Davis. Pretty consensus, actually pretty big receiver run here with Parker, Mooney, Rager, and Waddle and Davis. That's I think Parker's a cut above those guys still. I think there's a chance that Parker ends up being the highest scoring Dolphins receiver. And he's been somebody I'm hammering in drafts, but I was eyeing up Rager if I didn't get Parker there. But this is kind of where that, oh no, Zach Moss, no, damn it. I was really hoping I could somehow swing Zach Moss through there, swindle him. I don't need another receiver. I'm on the clock here in the 13th. Got sniped on Moss. I don't need another receiver. I don't really like the receivers on my queue. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, it's gross, but whatever. Gus Edwards. He'll score 6-7 touchdowns until J.K. Dobbins owners. Obviously no Mark Ingram, but I don't even know if that really matters all that much. Mark Ingram kind of died mid-season, but Gus is a fine RB4. I have like no pass catching upside in my running backs besides Edmonds, which is a little bit scary. Henry, Harris, and Gus Edwards are all like 2-down guys at the very most. Henry can obviously pop off a big screen, but he's not going to ever be a high volume receiver. So hopefully Edmonds can catch like 65 balls, because it is going to get thin here really quick with these running backs. once we get into the 14th round. All right, so Evan Ingram goes off the board after I take Edwards. Be interesting to see how the rest of these quarterbacks go off, because let's see, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, 6 of the 10 teams already have 2. So maybe they won't go off the board as quickly as I thought they might here. Maybe I can keep waiting. Because I'm definitely, like I said, I'm definitely going to take in these Cutline drafts in Best Ball Championship. You want 4 ideally. You can take 5, but I'd rather spend that 5th roster spot instead of a quarterback on another receiver, because you always need receivers, man, in best ball. Like people, that's one of the biggest mistakes people make in best ball. A lot of rookies just don't take enough receivers. Like I still see teams on best ball 10 where guys will only take 6 receivers. It's like, okay, we got to start at least 3. So that's 50% right there. If you have an injury, well, now you're down to 5. Yeah, definitely don't overdraft receivers just to have a bunch, but at minimum in best ball 10, you want at least 7, preferably 8. Because like I said, you're ideally going to want a receiver in that flex spot most of the time, unless you just start, with 3 running backs, and just crush your 3 running back picks. Receiver is most likely going to fill your flex spot. Okay, we're going to round up the 13th round here. AJ Dillon, he was the 3rd guy in my queue when I took Gus. They're kind of the same guy, I think. Inside the inside the tackle guy. 150 carries, 650 yards, a couple touchdowns. I got Edwards just a little bit above Dillon simply because the Ravens' run game is that damn good, and I don't think Dillon's very good. But Gus Edwards has been one of the most efficient backs in the league, so that's why I made this small delineation. Then we had Mecole Hardman, Kenneth Gainwell, Marvin Jones, Jonnu Smith, and Rob Gronkowski here to round out round 13. Let's see. So no quarterbacks have gone off the board in this range, which means I can kind of pick through who I want. Man, I would have loved to get Lamar or Dak. Dak would have been so sick for this team the way Cooper and I got Cooper and Gallup. And I don't have any obvious stacks right now, so I can kind of just take the top guy. But let's see. Oh, T.Y. Hilton. Damn, great pick. That is such a T.Y. Hilton's a 14th round pick with Carson Wentz in there, man. Yeah, please. T.Y. Hilton, I think he's my most drafted receiver right now. Just that's a phenomenal value. I was eyeing him up if I don't go quarterback here. All right, well, small quarterback around here. Baker Mayfield, Daniel Jones. I'm fine missing out on those guys. I guess I could keep waiting. Yeah, I'm going to keep waiting. I'll keep waiting on quarterback because I'm going to get 3 anyway. And ideally, I want Hurts to be my starter like 60% of the time. And I like this pool still. It could get thin quickly, though. I'll take a quarterback on the back end here. All right, so last 2 picks, Jamal Williams, who's in my queue, unfortunately, and Cole Kmet. Jamal Williams is going to get way more touches than the DeAndre Swift truthers are going to want him to get. Jamal Williams is a fantastic pick in best ball right now. I really wanted him as my RB5. So now I have a choice. Do I go floor or do I go for ceiling? With this team, I think I need to go floor with these running backs. So I'm going to take Nyheim Hines. Hines caught 60 balls last year. I need some pass catching upside with my running backs. Hopefully Hines can sneak into my RB2 spot a couple times. I think the loss of Phillip Rivers is actually going to hurt both Hines and Taylor in the passing game because Rivers checks down a bunch. Carson Wentz is way more aggressive than Phillip Rivers. So I've kind of shaved Hines' target total down a little bit, but he's still probably going to be the primary passing down back. Dang, Justin Fields, no. Damn, I really wanted Justin Fields or the guy I'm about to take. I'm going to take Trey Lance as the QB2. Unfortunately, don't get a stack with him. I could do some finagling late, but guys, Justin Fields and Trey Lance, one of those two, if not both, are going to end up crushing their ADP. It's the Konami code, man. You want running quarterbacks, and Trey Lance in his 14 or 15 starts, granted against whatever terrible competition, I don't care. He ran for over 1,000 yards in 15 starts. And now he's in the perfect system with a great offensive line, all the great weapons in the world. The good thing about some of these Konami quarterbacks, and this is a tournament, so ideally you want to shoot for upside. Like every pick should be based on upside, and the best way to capture quarterback upside is obviously you want a running quarterback and you want to stack him. And I did that with Hurts and Rager. I wish I had a Niner to stack with Lance, but I'm completely fine with going with Lance naked, not having a stacking option, just because he's got all the upside with, you're kind of capturing the upside with Ayuk and Debo and Kittle, but obviously, he's got his own standalone running upside on his own. And I also have a really hot take that should not be a hot take. Trey Lance is going to start week 1. It's not going to be Jimmy G. And Justin Fields will too. This has been ASMR. We're now in the 15th round. I'm losing my mind. But Justin Fields is starting week 1. Trey Lance is going to start week 1 too. You don't trade up for those two guys to not let them start early. Okay, maybe not week 1, but it'll be week 2. What's okay, good. Please do, Ben. I don't know if you were you live, or did you have your mic flipped up there? Okay. All right. Well, y'all have to see. Hopefully I'm right. But damn, I'm actually really glad I just got Lance, because there's been a huge quarterback run. All the other guys are gone. Roethlisberger, Derek Carr, and Tua to round out the 15th round. Damn. Well, I got lucky. by timing that run, because I would have been caught in the middle. I'm glad I went quarterback there and trusted that, because now it's looking a little skanky. All right. Start of the round is firing it up here. We got Deshaun Watson. Might not play this year, but if he does, you just got a top 8 quarterback in the 15th round. He rounds out the 15th round. By the way, if you're hanging out here in the 16th round on May 25th at 9:45 Eastern time, first of all, thank you. Second of all, you're just as big of a degenerate as we are here at fantasypoints.com. So if you're hanging out right now, thanks for sticking around and listening to me talk to myself for the last hour. It's been fun though. I'm having an internal monologue, so it's great. I feel like Robin Williams in Good Morning Vietnam. All right, so I thought I was missing something with the defenses going off the board in the 10th and the 11th round. I wasn't. The Bucs just went off the board in the 16th round, which, no offense to teammate here, Bucs in 16th round. Go. Let's see. Oh no, Kadarius. I was so excited to talk about Kadarius. Damn it. Well, that's okay. I'll get my other guy. Oh man, I've been drafting Kadarius Toney like crazy in like the 15th, 16th round of these best balls, man. He's going after Amon-Ra St. Brown, for Christ's sake. Dude was a 4th round pick. We're talking about Kadarius Toney was the 20th pick overall in the draft, and people are taking Amon-Ra St. Brown over him. It's insane out here in these streets. But Kadarius Toney's, he's the nuts. I'm gonna write an article about some of the best late round best ball guys I've been taking at receiver, and Kadarius is like my top guy right now. Followed by Javian Hawkins. Interesting. UDFA, 16th round pick. Guess that's a bet on Mike Davis not staying healthy. So now I have a choice. Um, let's see what he does. Um, I'm not, dude. There you go. Zach Wilson. Okay. Um, what do I want to do? Do I take my RB6? You know what? Yeah, screw it. I'm super strong at receiver. I'll take Darrell Henderson here. I was actually eyeing up like 3 rounds ago. Hines. I mean, guys, if Cam Akers gets hurt, they have nothing besides Darrell Henderson. And Henderson was like a high end RB2 before, or I guess after Akers got hurt. Akers is 100% going to be the bell cow a la Todd Gurley. I mean, he's awesome and they love him. But if he gets hurt, man, Darrell Henderson is going to smash. I don't think Akers is going to play like the full old Todd Gurley role where he plays like 90% of the snaps, but I could see Henderson mixing in for at least 6 to 8 touches, maybe getting a little bit of red zone work. But if Akers goes down, man, Henderson is like gangbusters. And 16th round is whatever, probably like the RB 55 off the board. I'm loving that. Okay, now I have the choice, and I'm going to make the choice of. Let's see how many teams. Oh Jesus, he's already got 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Some teams already have 3 quarterbacks. I don't have to reach here if I don't want to. Yeah, I'm not going to. I'll take another receiver. Actually, you know what? Let's do this. I'll take Adam Troutman, 17th round. I'm fine with him as my tight end too. You know, um, Saints obviously loved him. They moved up and traded like pretty much their entire 2020 draft, like all their day 3 picks to move up to take Troutman. Jared Cook's obviously gone. Obviously, the biggest question right now is their quarterback situation, but I'm more than happy with Troutman as my tight end too on teams where I have like Darren Waller or Kittle or Kelsey. I think he's just fine as like an upside swing, and if Waller gets hurt, my team is probably screwed anyway because tight end I'm not going to invest another high capital pick in tight end unless one absolutely just falls to me. All right, so after Troutman, we've got Lindsey, James White, some defenses. I'm probably going to eye up some defenses here too. I think this is about the right time for it. And speaking of the right time, Ben, 16 rounds in 50 minutes, man. How about that? Yeah, I told you I thought it might go fast, but this is way faster than I thought it would be. But again, if you stuck around and listened for this long, thank you. And hopefully you were somewhat entertained. I'm gonna get out of here. Ben, you want to get out of here too? Let's do it, man. Let's do it. All right, guys. Again, thanks for listening. We'll be back tomorrow with Greg and Adam and Joe and John. We'll be recapping, not recapping, but previewing the NFC West and the NFC South. Kind of big news today. Jeff Wilson, I think I mentioned earlier, tore up his meniscus. So I'm sure we'll talk a lot about Trey Sermon. I'm sure we'll talk a lot about Julio Jones and the whole trade situation and what's going on with there. Can't wait to get Adam's thoughts on that. But yeah, thanks for hanging out, guys. For Ben, I'm Graham. We'll see you next time.